Yeah, so Kassadin, overall, just strong pick in general. Nidalee, as you saw last game, is kind of strong. And both teams have learned to pick up Nidalee in imitation of infeed. Sona is an odd ban, really strong for AoE comps due to her AoE CC ult, and then just provides a lot of general strong support. The reason... I just remembered why. The reason why they banned Sona... Actually... I'm actually not... Because the person who just plays Sona is not playing for Fatme's team this week, so I can't actually tell you why. Oh, no, Moral Sinistral is the one that likes to play Sona a lot. So that's a target ban there. Jace, strong poke, hyperscales, incredibly into late game with the bonus damage from his W. Diana, Super Quack Duck is not in this game, so I'd say Super Quack Duck likes to play Diana. Diana's just a strong bot in general. And you see that Wukong pick. Wukong is going to be one of the top picks for this game. You're going to be seeing lots of shred comps coming out of Fatme's team now that they were able to get Wukong. Expect a Xin Zhao and a Jarvan. Kha'Zix, another strong poke champ, and then cleaning up with his resets. Lulu, very able to enable melee team comps with the knock-up on her ult and the CC from her ult and the general survivability increase from her ultimate. Amumu able to just lock up entire teams, and it is very important because his ultimate not only roots people but also disables their auto attack for the duration, which means that auto attack reliant bruisers are not able to act. And then of course Elise, strong base damage and just spiders. You want to go through the pick scan there?
I'm seeing why is Wukong favored so much over someone like Darius? I can't answer that like 1000% certainty. Maybe Cassis can handle that.
Yeah, the main thing is that Darius Bleed is magic damage, which means he's not able to as easily just apply Black Cleaver stacks to everyone on the enemy team. Fancy Wolf's team, you're seeing more single target shred with Vi's W providing shred and Fancy Wolf's path, and then the Xin Zhao passive providing shred. The Jax pick is maybe going bot, but Fatme last week was able to beat Fancy Wolf's team by actually baiting out a Diana pick by picking Jax early because Diana counters Jax, and then watching Fancy Wolf's team cry as they counterpicked the Diana with a pick I do not remember. Alistar, very tanky, able to very disruptive, basically just setting up for Jax, basically just going to be beefcake to make sure nobody's actually trying to focus down Jax and making sure Jax is able to put out DPS. Sazdik hovering over Jarvan against the whole idea of shred. Basically, the idea is they want to make sure that Fatme's team doesn't even really want to even try building armor. Armed Weasel picking up the LeBlanc to just round everything out, just to provide a lot of magic damage burst to clean up anybody and to make sure that they also don't just try to stack armor.
Yeah, half-hearted. I don't understand the world anymore either. I'm seeing a LeBlanc, and I'm not a very good LeBlanc player. I don't know if anyone has that picture, but it's horrible. But LeBlanc, I really, really like as a champion because LeBlanc is highly mobile in combat because of distortion. She comes with a snare. She comes with a silence. She can just outright destroy someone with a double sigil silence. Just bang, bang, and you get completely screwed. She can have, like, ridiculous mobility with double distortion. And she can take Teemo and Alistar for a walk with double ethereal chains.
Yep.
Like, LeBlanc, if you are just smart at looking at your situation, she can actually do a surprising amount in a fight. The downside is the things that she can do in a fight are really determined on how long she can live. So sometimes she actually doesn't stay alive long to pull off some of those neat tricks that she's capable of. While, yeah, she can bust out a double snare, or like a snare into another snare, or, you know, get that double silence off with the, with the sigil, and the, with the sigil, you proc it for the silence. Then you hit it with the other one, then you proc that for the silence. Or getting the distortions, you have absolutely no idea where she is. Like, but she usually dies before she can pull off a lot of the big trickery. So she usually ends up just being like a burst
mage, yeah. So, I don't know, yeah, it really depends if they decide to focus her, and I don't think there's going to be that much focus coming down on LeBlanc, considering how high damage the Bruisers Fancy Wolves team has picked. Teemo, strong map control. I would actually not be surprised if we see Teemo bot lane, since I don't think Teemo really fits into the rest of the team comp. Noob V3 is actually also likely to be bot lane. He practices bot lane a lot, but if Zero went top, that would be absolutely devastating to really counteract that Bruiser-heavy combination by making sure that the Bruisers can't get where they're going but with just the constant snares and all that AoE damage and CC. KO going bot for sure. I don't think that's not a question. And then Kale able to just output a lot of damage and being very hard to gank with that intervention ult or duel with that intervention ult.
I'm going to be really hyped to see LeBlanc in a game. LeBlanc has 2 settings, Dead and Liquefy, so we'll hope she can stay active for as long as possible and doesn't pull an SPG Neo style and die to minions while trying to distortion them to death.
Yeah.
Distortion does not do as much damage as advertised. You might not clear a creep wave even with a double. Be careful.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like that guy.
Also note that it's really funny that if they send LeBlanc bot, that would, against Zero, that actually might work out and amplify the shred just to add another 15% shred from Kale on top of Jarvan having his Q shred, Vi's W shred, and Xinjiao's passive shred.
Yeah, that Kale passive is not to be trifled with, especially if she gets something like a Black Cleaver or a Malady or a Nash with a Nash or something like that. If she gets a shred item along with it, it just starts to get really scary really fast.
Yeah, I don't think Kale herself would be picking a Black Cleaver. She doesn't apply it particularly well outside of just auto-attacking people, but you could definitely see something like Vi, Xinjiao, or Jarvan picking up the Black Cleaver. Although I'm not sure if they really need it with just so much init shred with all their abilities. That would probably just be overkill, and they'd probably be better off picking up Youmuu's for the flat armor pen, and then the amazing active on Youmuu's, especially considering how auto-attack reliant Xinjiao, Vi, Jarvan, and even Kale are.
So I'm seeing a what is that? What is that thing that was seen in the chat? I'm like trying to find it. Okay, seen a lot of people commenting on Alistar against that comp. What are they seeing that I'm not?
I think they're basically just saying that when you if you're trying to jump onto one of the Alistar's allies, you're jumping to Alistar headbutt pulverize range, so he can actually pulverize everyone, and then whoever he feels like picking off, he'll just walk behind them while they're knocked up in the air, and then just headbutt them into a convenient spot for easy decimation. And then also just in general, trying to dive into the middle of a Wukong ult, which is going to break everybody up. And then that trying to pick a bunch of auto attack reliant characters versus the Jax is a very smart idea because of how strong Jax's dodge is.
Jax is... If you have a bruiser on your team, I feel like if you compare Jax up with it, that guy works way better than normal. Pantheon, good character. Pantheon with Jax, what? You're gonna die. Wukong, scary character. Wukong with a Jax, kind of frightening. Xin Zhao with a Jax. Any other bruiser with a Jax, that just becomes a nightmare because he has that AoE stun and he has that leap strike. So if you have another bruiser that doesn't really have as awesome as Initiate as Jax's leap strike is, if he can jump in, throw down that AoE stun, get into that fight, and tie them up a little bit for someone who's a little bit slower, like Wukong, like what's the other champ we were just talking about, like Wukong, like Xin.
Oh yeah, it's so the comps are Alistar plus Xinjiao, Alistar plus Jax plus Wukong is the main combo. And it's just going to be a lot of AoE CC from Counter-Strike, from Pulverize, from the Wukong ultimate. That's just going to... That is all... That yes, it's melee range, but Fancy Wolf's team has to walk into melee range to actually be able to deal their damage. So since they're so melee reliant, they're going to be just walking into all that CC, and that's a bad idea.
Looking at the two teams here, we have... I don't know the teams, actually. I haven't cast them before, so I don't have them memorized by their summoner names yet.
Yeah, so we've got Shogun on Wukong, we've got Fat Me on Jax, we've got Wolfer on Alistar, we've got Moral Sinistral on Teemo, and we have Noob D3 on Zyra. You'll notice that their team does not have quite a strong border.
You did forget to say the team name, though.
Oh, yes. This team, so Z-Shogun, this team is Fat Me Too Heavy, actually. The team captain is Fat Me. Their borders, obviously, are not quite as strong as collects Evelyn Child Support or pays Evelyn Child Support, considering that they're only, on average, they're only gold. If we look at the team, the purple team, we have Fancy Wolf, so Awesome Explosions plus Loli, with the teams Fancy Wolf, Romantic Jaguar, Sazdik, Armed Weasel, and Corville.
Alright, that explains all of that. Let's take a look at these opening items here. Grez is first on Vi. That's the only thing that strikes me as being any out of the ordinary at all. But is that out of the ordinary, or is that just a thing? I'm seeing these double ruby crystals on Alistar, but those probably just turn to other things later.
Yeah, the double ruby crystals are probably going to be going... Probably, I would say, into Aegis, and then also Kindle Gems. I think the important things to take away from the Grez's is becoming more popular bruiser start. It gives you some armor, which gives you some added dueling power. With the Season 3 movement speed changes, you're not as reliant on actually getting boots to start off, and it's a somewhat competitive start with Prospectors plus boots in terms of just getting your actual build rolling out without sacrificing that much on the early game dueling potential.
Alright, looks like we're going to see Zyra down the bottom and other people up. Let's follow the red team because I want to see what Armed Weasel can do.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be all about whether LeBlanc can actually put out enough damage from the range to make up for the fact that everyone else has to jump into melee. Because if LeBlanc is actually capable of just straight up bursting down Jax late game, or just picking somebody off, that can be a big deal.
Now, the thing about LeBlanc that I've noticed from playing a lot of LeBlanc, because I really like that character, is that her range is short.
Yeah.
She's got to get really, really close to be able to deliver that damage, and that puts her in Leap Strike range, that puts her in Nimbus Strike range, Blinding Dart range, puts her in range for pretty much everything except for Alistar.
Yeah, I think, that puts her in range of Headbutt Pulverize combo, even.
Oh, I didn't know that, I was unaware.
Yeah.
Romantic Jaguar being the first one to go down, Arm Weasel putting a little bit of DPS right there, you see him putting the leash on Fat Me right there, lock him down, take him for a walk right there, Sazdik, nope, going through your house, J4 in your building, call the police, he's breaking and entering right there, and it's going to enable Fat Me Too Heavy to get that. Arm Weasel, it's a little bit too close right there. Getting that snare, though. Romantic Jaguar coming in from the side, trying to take care of Fat Me right there. He pops that counterattack, turns around, sees Sazdik weighing around down here on the bottom, looking to deliver an airborne if he needed to, but looks like it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. Just sort of looking at the general state of the two teams, basically it was, as chat was predicting, it's walking into Alistar Headbutt or Pulverize range, so Alistar gets a 3-man Pulverize, just puts out so much CC and really stops all those auto attacks that they need to put out the necessary damage.
You can see them hanging around in the middle of the map over here, wanting to group up beforehand. They're waiting for Alistar. They know Alistar is their tank guy. Don't know which one to call him there, but Fat Me going for
Initiator.
that relic. And yeah, there we go. That's the word I was looking for. Chaos also substitutes his dictionary.
Teemo's blind actually will be a very interesting impact in this match because again, other than like Jarvan's abilities, they're incredibly Awesome Explosions is incredibly auto attack reliant. The double Storm Shield channel is interesting, and the fight, Shogun goes in and is just getting blown up, but looks like he may be getting away.
Ooh, Corval coming up from the bottom, put a little bit of hurt on Fatme right there, and then immediately retreats back down to his tower there, and it drags Wolfer down with him, which means they're not going to have that Alistar CC up here at the top if they're going to break him down there off to deal with Kale. Looks like just Teemo up here to defend against the entire rest of the team. At the bottom, Corval is having to deal with both of those champions and try and keep that point neutral as best he can. It looks like LeBlanc coming down here now that the work is mostly done up at the top, but is LeBlanc going to be able to do enough damage and have enough of a presence to be able to keep this from getting captured? She goes for Alistar right there, takes him for a walk, and oh, so close! Has to use another Sigil, but that puts her Sigil on cooldown. She could really use that silence against Zyra right now.
Oh, pause. Quick summary of what happened up top. Teemo gets dunked, but right before Teemo dies, Shogun comes in and uses Jarvan's ult against him, spinning around inside that Cataclysm. They get the neutralize off, and they're probably not going to get the cap off, as Fatme has just finished off Vi, but Shogun just jumps in, does a ton of damage with his Wukong ultimate. Vi finishes off the neutralize, then goes to help, finishes off Shogun, but not before Fatme gets there, and Fatme is unable to finish off Romantic Jaguar before Shogun dies, but winning that top fight, both Windmill and the Boneyard are neutralized right now, which means that the health is ticking down for Purple Team. And Gander, is Purple Team going to be able to prevent this from becoming a 4-cap, or will Blue Team successfully manage to take this 4-cap down bottom?
Purple is red, right?
Yeah, purple is red.
Okay,
yeah.
I haven't had it on normal mode in so long, and I just plain forgot. Well, Zyra's dead, so they're going to get that point. So it's going to be a 3-2. Like, there's no way they're going to get that 4. If they brought Teemo down right away, no, they still wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
Because J4 could go down there to cover, they could send Fancy Wolf to the drill. It's going to go to 3-2.
Yeah.
It's still stuck. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Oh no, I just realized that for whatever reason, Spectator and the default client have colorblind mode on differently. So my default client has colorblind, but my Spectator for some reason didn't.
That's interesting. And Sazdak. This is like we might both be wrong.
Yeah.
Is he gonna get this neutral? If he gets this neutral, we're both completely wrong.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't know how to cast. How do you feel?
Not surprised.
Alright, Sazdak gets chased away from the bottom down there. Got both people still looking for the storm shields on the side of the map, though. Fatme going for it once again. Teemo providing some little bit of interference up there. Fancy Wolf as well trying to get. He's got Romantic Jaguar backing him up. You know the map. Alistar getting away from an engagement down there. LeBlanc and J4 looking for him. It's a lot of positioning, and they're just waiting for someone to slip up here. I'm Weasel. I'm scared.
Oh,
nope.
barely just out of range of that Alistar pulverize. That could have been very dangerous.
Now, Fatme has been able to secure that Storm Shield, which is going to be good for their team if they're able to get an engagement here.
Yeah.
Teemo's throwing the mushroom down.
Looks like we're going to get a jungle engagement right here. Revealed. Walking into the bush. Oh, and Sazak just straight misses the knockup. Pulverize. So much CC going down. Teemo gets jumped, but the exhaust denies a lot of the burst.
And now
so much auto attack damage coming out from Jax there with that Storm Shield. Basically, Fatme face checks the bush, doesn't care because Sazak just straight missed that CC, and the rest of Awesome Explosions plus Loli was not there to finish up. Shogun interrupting the Storm Shield cap might be a bad idea.
See, I always get really afraid for a LeBlanc that does that. They catch a bruiser right there, and they're like, "Aha! I got you!" Oh, my ethereal chains is gonna do a little bit of extra damage. And then every time I see that, I'm like, he's gonna turn around and kill you. But then sometimes he just walks away because maybe he doesn't want to risk it. Because LeBlanc might have been able to win that exchange with another combo. Wukong might not be able to survive it. Who knows? Always could go. Uh-oh, there's the airborne on Fancy Wolf right there. But they dive straight around for Shogun there. And we're gonna get Cyclone, and looks like Jax jumping into the fight now. Jax, does he have enough Windex to clean up this mess? Alistar of so double kill.
So much Windex. Arneweasel does not have his ultimate available, which means that he's going to have he's looks like his W is not off cooldown. He only has ethereal chain.
Oh,
This
the
is
ethereal chain does not connect, unfortunately. That's a little bit of a... That happens to a lot of characters, where if you use a line effect when you're standing in someone, sometimes it doesn't work right. And that was just an unfortunate thing right there.
Oh, it's just when you jump on someone and you can just pick which side you're going. Line effects just aren't always the best idea. They aren't going to help you enough.
No, they gotta... I feel like their hitboxes on the very end of them. And if that comes out behind their character model, then it won't connect or something like that. I don't know it mechanically too well. I guess I'll have to play LeBlanc in a custom and just cast ethereal chains 100 times to see what happens.
Yeah, it's basically Fatmi just walked like right behind her, right as she was casting, preventing her from landing it. Gold-wise, if you compare the two bot laners, they're roughly even, which means that the fights are going to be more matched.
That distortion proccing that mushroom, that Noxus trap right there. Arm Wheel's taking so much damage. Corval coming up from the bottom there, helping out. Saving LeBlanc right there, giving LeBlanc the buffs. LeBlanc able to get away, but up at the top, Romantic Jaguar, I'm not so sure how I feel about that. He's definitely drawing attention away from the bottom point, which is going to kind of help protect it a little bit. Wukong wisely splitting off to go for the drill right now, but...
Way too aggressive. He should have gone... Oh, wow, jumping into the 1v2, that's a bad idea. What Romantic Jaguar should have done, just burning the ultimate without even landing the damage onto Fatme. What he should have done is he should have gone to neutralize and just pieced out. So much damage coming out from new V3. Plants do a lot of damage, guys. Don't underestimate them.
No, they are. You ever seen Jumanji? It's kind of like that. Plants are scary. They're not to be trifled with. And Zyra's going down that bottom lane, Boneyard, with a big creep wave behind her. She should get that neutral off, no problem, before Kale's able to arrive up at the top. However, Wukong gets killed, and they're going for Wolfer now, and they're doing a pretty good job at getting him low, but now Fatme is determined to save everything up here at the top. Gets the leap strike off on Fancy Wolf, turns around, starts chasing away Armed Weasel, and Fatme's been the cleanup crew on more than one fight here. Down at the bottom, it looks like Zyra did get the full cap, too.
Yeah, forced out the kill. Kill just barely survived there. The important thing to note is that you don't dive an Alistar with his ult up. That's just a bad idea.
Yeah, and if you do, it's for someone who's not him, and you put him on maximum priority ignore until it wears off. Armed Weasel got that poison dot, able to get away just a little bit there. Oh, going for the ballsiest recall ever? No, not quite.
Yeah. No, yeah, 60% reduced damage is just way too much for most people to deal with.
Jack's just getting all of the kills this game. Got another creep wave coming in, but looks like Alistar doesn't like creeps. Sazdak trying to catch Teemo. Teemo's like hippity-hoppity-boppity, getting away from that. Woofer's on the leash right there, gets locked down. Don't touch that mushroom, you guys. You know it's there. Do not stand in that.
Fancy Wolf jumping onto Molesistral. Molesistral's going down here. But Wukong able to get the neutralize. He needs to just get out of there now. Minion dies before you can Nimbus Strike to it for the escape. Wow, very nice ultimate by Shogun.
Almost. Armed Weasel barely able to escape the Cyclone, but Alistar
clean it up.
Alistar gives no F's about that that magic damage. Nothing will hold Alistar back.
Yeah. LeBlanc is not able to milk him.
No. Alistar's not for doing that. They saw you, Jaguar. Run!
Yeah. I think... Yeah, bot lane, Noob V3 is just outscaling Corval pretty badly. Corval just does not have an answer to how much CC Noob V3 is able to put off. Because getting those max range snares, Corval's just not able to actually return auto attacks to trade. So Noob V3's range advantage is destroying bot lane. Looking at top, people sort of poking back and forth, although gap close is used. That's a lot of damage.
Yes, it is. LeBlanc was trying to deliver that ethereal chains onto Wukong, but was not able to connect.
Wukong lives. It's a miracle.
It's a stun lock. That's what I think I would... Oh, Vi with the speed right there, getting into that fight really, really quickly, but finding that she really doesn't have... Oh, the mushroom, Teemo, you're a jark.
Corval barely dying to the plants, and then barely getting his and barely saving his point from the neutralize. It looks like Zyra is going to get away from this though and taking down Corval down to half health.
And Zinzao hanging out down there. It looks like he wants to try and go for Zyra, but Zyra's got all the snares and all that zoning ability that you really can't get in on her. The plants proc the BFT? Oh, that's interesting to know. And uh-oh, new V3 gonna get cut down right there. No, barely survives. Wukong saving the rainforest down there in the bottom lane.
I will note though that was an excellent ult by Fancy Wolf, getting those extra resists, and then barely surviving the and barely just knocking Wukong away, trying to keep Wukong off him for a little second, but it wasn't enough. Shogun getting really aggressive against Corval.
And well, Wolfer hates LeBlanc clones. And
Yeah, I think LeBlanc was trying to milk Alistar, and that was a bad idea.
no, he's not for doing that. He's got him on a leash though. Uh-oh. Is LeBlanc finally gonna pull it off? No.
Nope.
No.
You don't milk Alistar.
LeBlanc, not even once.
And Alistar still gets away.
And-
Will Teemo save Alistar? Wolfer, I would just get out of there. Using the Vi ultimate just to finish off Alistar? Not sure about that.
Sometimes you just really want a nice cut of state.
Oh.
That airborne right there, that cataclysm, gonna box things up
that's
pretty
game.
nice, but they just
That's game. Very nice play by Fami to heavy. Fami, not actually that heavy. Currently, he just sort of carried. That Jax, just Windex.
I guess maybe his burden to carry the team is what's too heavy.
Yes,
That's what it is.
I don't know.
All right, so do we have
that-
another game yet? We've been machine gunning these out.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that was. Let's see.
I just tried to click my
I
graph.
think we want to watch the other game, the round of four, the 3 seed versus 2 or 7 seed.